afternoon, everybody. Hope you had a wonderful July 6th, 2021 trading day. Fantastic day here for DTR and DTR members. Absolutely cleaned up today, traded our plan, executed with precision, and had very few emotions throughout our trading day. Took advantage of the early morning conditions and then let things calm down and play out. Right, with the VIX still hanging out sub 20 at 16.4. You don't really expect much follow through outside of those opening moves. So let's take a look here on the daily time frame across markets quickly. Right, SPY printed us a pretty aggressive hammer candle. Didn't quite make a higher high, but made a lower low. Generally don't want to see a lower low here, but relatively still bullish bearish candle. Not bad volume and excellent recovery after that morning sell-off. There are definitely a few entries along the way on this recovery, but nothing that was high conviction. So I didn't take a stab at anything today on the SPY. Right, QQQ, very similar story. Right, even looks like a similar candle, even though it closed green. Right, initial morning action, you had two fairly bearish bullish candles that maybe told you that there wasn't that much upside momentum off the opening bell. Again, no setups there this morning or this afternoon for me in the queue, but strong recovery day nonetheless. All-time highs, new all-time highs. So if we can continue along this path, right, this thing can only keep flying up. Apple today is where we really got that first bit of action. So, top trade idea of the day was Apple calls if this 140 area could hold. Well, that held pre-market, and Apple absolutely rocket shipped up for that $2. Tried to take a stab at this intraday, right off this opening bell, but couldn't get much follow through on this breakout and got stopped out at my entry price. So I was looking for a play above this sort of 142.87 area for a move towards that 144.75. Was an area we discussed pre-market, and we had a pretty nice Bollinger Band breakout play, but markets weren't cooperating, so Apple wasn't going to give us that follow through that we expected to the upside. Still a really strong setup and still held up really well all day today. So I'd expect Apple to continue to remain tradable on this wedge breakout for the next couple of days. We've got 5 consecutive bullish days here on Apple. So I'd like to see, maybe for the price to consolidate a little bit for another move up, right? Tesla today, though, was a different story for us. Very profitable trade, right? After a period of sustained consolidation. So we've been talking about this 667 shelf on Tesla for a while here, right? As long as price stayed above, we were bullish, but if we broke down, we were really bearish. So with DTR, we played the 660 puts, right, on the break of this 667 area, looking for that gap fill. So gap fill went to about 657, right? I took half my position off here and tried to let the remainder run on this Tesla. I ended up getting stopped out on my remainder at about $14, right? Entry at $11.40, stopped out at about $14. So locked in a very tidy win on a nice level breakdown, right? The setup on this is twofold. So one, we're getting a failed wedge breakout. So we didn't get that confirmation above that 700 area, right? We saw that continued weakness on Friday. Confirmation is this gap getting filled, right? Or getting into this gap. So that low of this area, the 667 area gets taken out. That's our confirmation of this setup happening. Entered on the 660 puts, right? Protected our entry and tried to see how much could run. The goal was to try to see if we can get an all-day runner. Unfortunately, it didn't happen for us. Caught a really nice win. Had to close out. No big deal. Is what it is. Okay, Microsoft, no trades for me on this today, right? But very similar candle to, say, the SPY on the daily. Slightly higher top wick, but very thin volume. Relatively thin volume for this kind of candle type, right? When you're getting that aggressive dip buying, you're always going to anticipate volume to be pretty high. So not too surprising that we got a big volume there. But again, right, same case, a bullish, bearish candle, right, arrows pointing up. So I would expect to maybe get some further follow through here on this Microsoft. So let's go next trade of the day, right, was SHOP. SHOP, we talked about pre-market, how we were looking for a breakout above this 1500 for moves towards that 15, let's call it 30 area, right? So setup is wedge break, right? Setup of wedge break is when you break this trend line. Confirmation is you break the point where it touches trend line. So confirmation of wedge break was a break above that 1500. Entered the 1550 calls at 1077, right? Price 1077, and got stopped out. Took some profit and then wanted to let the remainder run. Operational issue and closed out my entire position. So accidentally, closed a good win, but could have been a little bit more. Still ended up being about 35% in just a few minutes, right? So we caught this first breakout here, right? This first 30-minute breakout, quick $17 move in the underlying for what could have been a little bit more follow through, but we didn't miss that much. So happy to have taken my profit there. With this SHOP contracts, right, the spreads were getting a little bit wild and the moves were getting really aggressive. So this was a tough one to want to hold all day long. But relatively tidy win on that wedge breakout with confirmation. I'll take that trade 10 times out of 10. Finally, last trade of the day was Disney. We played Disney puts, right? Same concept. We were talking about this wedge breakdown. So where's the point on the wedge, right? Is this 173.30 area. Once that area broke, we were looking for that follow through to the downside. So we got that initial break here. Right? I had to stomach a little bit of pain and then it started going. Moved about $1, right? And was able to lock in and start protecting my entry at that area, right? Locked in a nice win. Got stopped out when we didn't get that further follow through, right? Entry was on the 172.5 puts, expiration this week on a break of that 173.23 area, targeting that 171.23. We're looking for a couple dollar move. Didn't quite get that follow through we expected. Entry was 115.2. I got stopped out at protecting my entry at 136. So happy to take a nice win, right? Protect my entry, see if you can get lucky, and see if you can get that follow through. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. Right? Market's still not giving us much follow through day to day, but happy to lock in a very, very tidy win. Right? Still have one position open here. Doing a forward swing overnight. So wedge breakdown, anticipating a move towards this 1395 area. Playing forward puts, expiration next month. Try to see if we can get a little bit of follow through to the downside here. I certainly think we have a little bit of weakness coming up, right? This big pop on Ford has been kind of on their electric F-150 news. And that's nice news, but we're not really getting any big sales from that yet, or not getting any huge production or anything numbers like that. So let's see if this news fades a little bit. We've got room down. So I feel pretty good about this swing. Might take a few days to develop, but this is pretty small size for me. And we'll see how this comes together. We'll keep you updated on this position over the next coming days. Right, going forward, still got a few of those patterns that we were talking about. Still very much in play, right? Space bull flag still looks like it wants to go. Palantir, good weakness, right? So we can continue getting that weakness under that 2383. Certainly got a long ways to go down, and we'll keep talking about those setups as the week develops. So I hope everyone had a really, really good Tuesday and a great start to the week. Certainly was a great start for DTR and DTR members. For those of you who are interested, I'll be live streaming all day tomorrow. Otherwise, I will see you at the pre-market video and post-market recaps tomorrow. Have a great day, guys, and happy hunting.